Peace. What's good? How y'all doing? This is ZaZaAli. Today is what's today? Uh, Halloween, 10/31. I pray that this message reaches you guys in the best of health, spirit, and mind. This is going to be a really short video. I just had a couple of things that I forgot to say yesterday in the King's Disease video that have been bothering me because I didn't say them. And that happens to me all the time. I have, so much information to share with you guys, and then I end up forgetting things that are in my notes or that are right in front of me. So I just wanted to take a couple of minutes to get it off my chest, especially because it's an important subject. It's not really easy trying to, deliver a message that could probably or should probably take a few books, you know what I'm saying, or a few lectures. To get the full point across, doing that in such a short amount of time. So sometimes I forget things, and then it nags me if I don't actually get a chance to say it. So I'm going to take a few minutes to do that. Real quick, I want to thank, and I have to share this with you guys. I know I posted this on my Instagram channel. This beautiful, beautiful brother who painted this picture of me. I'm going to give you his website information, but look at how pretty this is. From top to bottom, and it's way bigger than I thought it was. So this is my brother, Fuquan. I hope I'm saying his name right, but his website is FUQ like Quincy, UA like Adam, N like Nancy, S like Sam.com. And he does a lot of different types of artwork. If you go to his Instagram page, which is a lot of skills, it's ALLOTASKILLZ. And if you can't find it, just shoot me a DM and I'll send it to you. But he took the time to paint this beautiful, beautiful image of me. And it looks so much like me. When I first saw it before he sent it to me, I was just flabbergasted. And then when I got it, the eyes are actually pink. The third eye is pink. I mean, it is just absolutely phenomenal. And I'm so honored and I'm so thankful. This is one of the most beautiful gifts that I have ever received in my entire life. The thought and the time that went into this just truly honors and humbles me. So I'm very grateful to you. Thank you so much. And I will actually take a picture sitting next to it once I'm actually looking, decent. I've got all yoga clothes and haven't really got myself together today. But once I do, I will take a picture of this and actually post it on my different social media pages so you guys can have his direct contact information. But if you want to get a self-portrait or a gift or something of that, something like that, just hit me up and I'll make sure you have the direct contact. But that's his information, FUQUANS.com. And I'm so honored and so thankful. Thank you so much. It's so beautiful. And I really appreciate you for honoring me that way. I got a message, a couple of comments on my video yesterday that really kind of disturbed my spirit this morning. I actually got the comment this morning and I read it this morning. And I know I shouldn't let this stuff get to me. You guys don't have to write me and tell me that. Most of the time when people say that, don't let the negativity get to you. I know they're not people who do social media content, because anybody that actually spends any time, dedicating themselves to putting up content, sitting down and talking and giving their perspectives on any subject matter, really, let alone trying to help people to elevate their consciousness, it's difficult to just kind of brush that stuff off and act like it doesn't count or it doesn't matter, or not that it doesn't count, but it doesn't bother you, because it does. Yesterday, I sat down for 3 hours and, got some stuff off my chest that I've been wanting to say for a long time. I've kind of been handling the subject of men and our men with kid gloves because this of what the time right now dictates and calls for me in particular. I know what my role and my responsibility is. And I also know that right now the point of emphasis, particularly for me, is women, and elevating and raising our consciousness, at least right now in this moment. So I've kind of been handling that conversation with kid gloves, especially personal situations that I've been through within the conscious community, and very significant ways that men in that community let me down. And it's all good. That's not, I don't say that with any bitterness in my heart. But it's kind of the reason why I've strayed away from this conversation. And then also being a mother to a son, a young man, I want to be conscientious and careful about, how I'm speaking to men and how I'm representing women in terms of the dynamic of men. This is one of the reasons why one of the chapters in my Keys to Womanhood workbook, which is available for pre-order now, and thank you to those of you guys who went to my site and actually supported that. I have a whole section called Boys to Men, where it is all about girls and women and how we relate to the opposite sex. And it's not just from a space of, purely sexual or purely intimacy or purely the men that, we are involved with. It's also about our brothers and cousins and uncles and grandfathers and, the men in our community. So that's why this topic is important. But again, I did leave off some things that I wanted to talk about. But to my point, there was a comment that really disturbed my spirit about, a sister left a comment about, me getting to the point and me spending so much time promoting and soliciting myself, and, her voicing her frustration because I actually take time on my platform to promote my content, and my books as a writer. And just the undertone of the message, it did disturb my spirit. And of course, she, we had a kind of a back and forth, and she, made her intention or her point, she kind of brought it full circle to where I have a little better understanding, of what she meant, and she didn't mean any disrespect, and I accept that. But I just want to let you guys know, I'm going to need you to be a little bit more careful with how you talk to me and how you handle me. I know, because I'm strong, because I speak with passion, because I speak with authority. People have this, this weird perception of me, that almost I'm not human. You know what I'm saying? And that I can, you can kind of throw anything at me and I'm going to be able to take it. I am a real woman. And as much as I talk about being in tune with and being in alignment with, your emotions and that mind-heart synchronicity, I would think that would, be a cue for people to use that same frame of reference in how they deal with me. And obviously with social media, we've kind of gotten conditioned now, particularly our people, and in social media, and it goes beyond social media, where we just take. You know what I'm saying? And, the relationships are not reciprocal. We've had many scientists and teachers and scholars that have come before me, and that are amongst us now, that we have taken for granted. And I have continuously been battling this energy of resentment, or discouragement or disappointment, because I do feel like aspects of my audience have taken me for granted, have not supported me. I did the logistics on my videos, and I've exceeded 3.5 million, I think, the last time I actually checked it. And that doesn't even include the interviews and things that I've done on other people's content. So from that perspective, when I look at those numbers and then I see as a writer the number of people that have actually supported my work and purchased my books, it is very disheartening. But I like I said, it's taken me time to overcome that way of thinking, and I've gotten to a space now as a spiritually minded woman and as a teacher and a student, where I'm no longer focused on the people supporting me per se, and I'm more so getting in alignment with knowing and understanding that the universe and God will always support me regardless to whom or what. but that still does not, negate the fact that, our relationship should be reciprocal. And if you do benefit from my content and what I do, it's hard for me to fathom how that it doesn't naturally become a goal and a point of emphasis to make this reciprocal. I every time, especially with what's happening right now with COVID-19, and I've been kind of ahead of the curve at every turn, as far as, the vision of understanding what was happening 10 years ago and what's happening now. And I've created content that basically backs up everything that I talk about in my videos. I feel like, and I know in my heart, that if I had had more consistent support from my audience and from my community, that I would be way further ahead as far as my research. I should have a lab at this point where I can actually go into a laboratory and take the fibers and the content that I have been aware of, air samples, water samples, and be able to go into a laboratory and, take my hypothesis, so to speak, and put it under a microscope, and to be able to come to you, my community, with scientific information and validation to basically back up what I know in my mind and my heart to be true about what was happening 10 years ago and what is happening now. That's my goal. Even if I have to fund it myself, which is looking like that's, probably going to be the case. That's how I think. When I talk about that pyramid, as far as the people that are in power, racism, and the people that are at the top of that pyramid, that's my focus. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not really worried about, the loudmouth, tobacco chewing rednecks and the people that are flying Confederate flags and, you know what I'm saying, the people that are wearing MAGA hats and stuff like that. Like, I get it. Some of us need to be focused on them. I'm focused at the top of the pyramid. And unfortunately, there aren't too many people in our community that are focused on the top of the pyramid. And hence the reason why the psychological warfare and the geoengineering and the social engineering is so effective, because we are completely aloof when it comes to what is happening at the top of the pyramid. So I don't, harbor any bad feelings toward the sister who left the message, but I do want to just say, if you can't sit and listen to me talk about my businesses and my writing and the things that I'm working on for 20 minutes, out of a 3-hour or 2 1.5-hour videos, or talk for 3 hours, literally I was red in the face. I was sweating. I had a headache yesterday evening that I couldn't shake. Woke up with a headache, right? So there's the physical toll to putting that level of energy out into the world and trying to express what's in your mind and in your heart. If you can't take the time to listen to me talk about what I'm working on for 20 minutes or 30 minutes, then my platform is not for you. And I would appreciate it if you guys would keep, that type of energy to yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because it bothers my spirit. It's, we as a culture, we don't have generous spirits when it comes to particularly spiritual teaching. We'll support people that will, teach you how to, do things as far as money is concerned, as far as your physical body is concerned. We support things like that. But when it comes to people that are spiritually minded and spiritually focused, we don't really support, that type of teaching in our community. And I understand why a lot of the people that look like me, don't really do what I do. They don't really give free content online. They don't really engage people as far as this type of format, YouTube in particular, which is one of the, more, it's like you throw something against the wall on YouTube and you have to see what sticks. So a lot of those people won't even really do content online to come online and not in a way, maybe a 10-minute video. I can't tell you how many people have especially people that do business online, they always tell me, you need to stop doing those longer videos and just go on and just give people like 5-minute, 10-minute videos. That's not really how I'm wired though. You know what I mean? Like I'd rather do a 2-hour video, maybe once a month. And then, go back in my, my proverbial cave, so to speak, because I am a writer and a researcher and a studier. Like I don't really like doing a lot of online content like that. So when I do it, it's because I have something to say, and some things to get off my chest. And I put together these presentations so I can make the point that I want to make. I want to make it substantive. So anyway, I just wanted to get that off of my chest and let you guys know I'm, like I'm a human being. Like, be careful how you handle me, because there's going to be a time and a day, and it may be sooner than what we think, when I won't even be doing these type of videos anymore. You know what I mean? Like, you won't be able to access me like this. And I know for a fact, and I don't say this, to be cocky. I don't say this to be arrogant. But I know for a fact that there is no one online that does what I do, because I cover spiritual concepts. I cover science. I specifically have been focusing on melanated people around the world. I also cover history. I've also been very forthright as far as my ability to see what's coming in the future as a visionary. As well as like probably 20 other things that I could name off, if that was important to me, but it's not. But I just want to make the point, like, I know my value, I know my worth, I know who I am, and I also know that I'm cut from a different cloth, and there's the type of content that I put up is not going to be found anywhere else on social media. I'm talking specifically from a spiritual standpoint, as a woman with a divine feminine perspective who is well studied and well versed and continuously researches and continuously reads and continuously studies and provides you with resources and references so that you can go back and check information from other people outside of myself. So I'm going to need you guys to handle me with a little bit more care. And I'm also going to need you to be a little bit more serious about not taking me for granted, and for appreciating who I am and what I am. Because if you don't, then we won't have to have conversations about me doing long videos anymore. You can just watch all of my old content. All right. So what I forgot to talk about yesterday, a few of the things that I wanted to talk about, I kind of touched on sex and men being lacking sexual discipline or not having sexual control. And I talked about that a lot. Not because it's the most important thing, or not because there are other important things, but because those people at the top of that pyramid, that energy, that level of consciousness is continuously focused on ruling you based on your lower self, and keeping you focused on sex, and keeping you focused on a lower vibrational aspect of pleasure, so to speak. And it is keeping them from having to worry about dealing, like people say, the white man has his foot on our neck, or the white man is always doing this, or the white man is always doing that. Well, to be honest, most of the control and most of the ruling of men, other men, and not just black men, but men in particular, is so savvy and is so subtle that they don't have to really be in our communities like hip, you know what I'm saying? Like on your neck, consistently worried or focused about you. No, you're pretty much being the lack of knowledge of self and the lack of what's happening as far as the psychological warfare is so fine-tuned now that they don't really have to do anything in our community. So while, we have these demons running around that, randomly kill black men, that is a very small aspect of this very methodical, scientific and psychological war that is taking place. So a couple of things. Number one, and I kind of touched on this when I talked a little bit about men in the conscious community, but I see so much, and it's such an irritant. So many men, males, whatever you want to call them, online. You know, my foot is going to sleep because I was sitting with my legs crossed. Online blaming women for everything, blaming women for single parent households, blaming women for, getting with white men, I mean, just the word bed wench, how often that gets thrown around as if we actually, are producing a high level of men that are treating women with, righteousness and the right amount of respect, to elevate how we see men. It's absurd. And the lack of self accountability and responsibility in our communities. And I touched on religion a little bit. I touched on the conscious community, but let's be clear. What I'm talking about, this King's disease, is in the Muslim community. It's in the Christian community. It's in the Pan-African community. It's in the conscious community. It's in the atheist community. It's in the hood. It's in the suburbs. Like, it's found all throughout the dichotomy of our culture. It's in our music. We promote it in our music. It's, it's in the male leadership, so to speak. So it's not particular to one specific entity, but it is ingrained in our culture. So I just want to make sure that I make this point, that the days of allowing our men to mess over our women, and I know some really, 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 really good women that have been messed over by mediocre random dudes. I'm talking about intelligent, beautiful, smart, classy, respectful, takes care of their parents, takes care of their family, takes care of their children, takes care of themselves, and not perfect by any means. And on a spiritual level, we know, and I've talked about this consistently, that whatever vibration you're on, you are going to come into alignment and attract men or attract relationships that match that frequency, or that are meant to teach you and to take you to the next level within your consciousness and awareness. So I've continuously been talking to women about accountability, self-responsibility, etc. If that applies to women, then it has to apply men to as well. And not only does that have to apply to men, but we're going to need men, way more men, to start having this conversation with men as well as with women, so that we make sure that we underscore the point that this is not our fault, that it's not all on women, that it's not all our responsibility, right? The other thing is, this is one of the quotes that I meant to talk about. This is from my workbook, The Science of Self. And much love to everybody that's purchased this workbook. It is available in ebook as well as in a physical copy. But this quote is from Dr. Joe Dispenza's Becoming Supernatural. He says, and you can see this image right here where he's kind of making the point, right? He says, just like two atoms that bond together to form a molecule which share energy and information, when two people share the same emotions and energy and communicate the same thoughts and information, they become bonded together as well. In both cases, they are found by an invisible field of energy that keeps them connected. It takes energy to separate these two atoms. And it is going to take energy and awareness to take those entities' level of consciousness to another level. Basically, what he's talking about is, if you look at these images, right? All right, let me see. Okay, atoms bond to make a molecule, right? Now we're talking about quantum physics here. And shout out to the 85%ers for making yourselves known in my comments. I appreciate you so much for doing that. It makes my job a lot easier. But these are atoms bonded to a molecule. Now, if you're not familiar with quantum physics, basically we're all made up of atoms, right? And there's another thing that I meant to talk about, in this concept of men being superior to women in any capacity or vice versa. The human body is made up of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Right. So if you look at this number, right, this is the amount of atoms that all of our bodies are made up. I don't even know what the name of this is, but it's 7 followed by 21. This is 21 zeros. So this is the number of atoms that actually makes the physical body up. And, you know, when it comes to the point about, you know, men being more superior to women, it's like, so does that mean that did God give you like 10 million more atoms, you know what I'm saying, just to make you greater than the woman? Like, when you look at the spiritual science of this, when you look at the quantum physics aspect of this, you realize how absurd it is, you know, the war of the sexes, so to speak, or anybody that's trying to, you know, one up the woman, trying to one up the man, or the man trying to one up the woman, right? Because it's like, you know, when you break it down, we're really, you know, made of the same thing. You know what I'm saying? But back to my point. All right. So people with the same emotions and the same energy, sharing the same thoughts and information, bonded together, right? So he's made the correlation of the atoms, and then he's made the correlations of the physical being. Now, I had a conversation with a brother some time back, and I was just talking about, you know, when you have a sexual mate who you feel is less than you, right? Him thinking that he supersedes her as far as his consciousness, you know, you know what I'm saying? He's more aware than her. He's smarter, sharper, or he's just got a higher level of consciousness with her. And I was saying, well, you know, when you lay with this woman, you know what I'm saying? You're downloading her genetic information. You're downloading her energy. You're downloading her data. And that's becoming a part of you. And he wasn't trying to hear it. And I didn't really get into all of this because, you know, you pick your battles. But I just need for men to understand, beyond procreation and having children and who you have children by, when you lay down with a low vibrational being and you come together and you bond through the act of sex, which is the highest emotionally charged act that human beings actually, you know, interact with. He says, when two people share the same emotions and energy and communicate the same thoughts and information, which is exactly what happens during the act of sex, whether it lasts for 5 minutes or 5 hours, they become bonded together as well. So I just want men to understand that when you lay with random women, or when you lay with prostitutes, or when you lay with these low vibrational, you know, women, right? And no disrespect, but I have to keep it real, that you are downloading that genetic energy, you are downloading that consciousness, and it is actually becoming a part of who you are, your consciousness, right? So are there ways to circumvent that or to detox, quote unquote? Sure. Hit me up and we can talk about it. Consultation, you want to become a client, whatever, cool. Or you can get the information from other resources. But my point is, for the culture, we're going to need our sons, we're going to need our men to start being a lot more careful with who you share your body with, who you share your semen with, who you give your time and energy with, and to start looking at yourself from a perspective of God's creation and as sacred, opposed to just trying to bed women or to lay with women, or not really being careful about the type of women that you give yourself to. And then you add children into the equation, right? So you think you're a king, or you call yourself a king, but then you lay with a concubine or a low vibrational being. What do you think, what type of environment do you think that child is being produced in? I can't tell you guys how many men that I've talked to over the years that reach out to me, some brothers that have had children by white women, and because they know I'm biracial, so they want me to help them to help their children to deal with the, you know, the lack of love they're getting from their black family, and then the lack of love that they get from their white family. They don't really fit in anywhere, but they have taken their children from those women because they realize that those women are not going to be able to raise their children as black righteous children. Or men that are just like, you know, you have children by this random woman without really taking into context what this means. And now you're fighting for the soul of your child You know what I'm saying? Because you just had a random, casual sex interaction, and now it's actually produced life, right? Well, now you got to deal with somebody for the rest of your life that you can't stand. And, you got to be really careful about having sexual relations with somebody that you don't like. And this is a conversation that me and my friend Omitayo have been having a lot lately. And this goes for women as well as men. When you think about the gravity and the depth of, like Joe Dispenza talks about, sharing that emotional connection, that energetic connection, that communication, that genetic download, that data, and you are consistently doing that with someone you like, and how you don't like, and how dangerous and detrimental that is for your well-being. And I want to emphasize that to women who are listening to me that are involved in relationships with men that you don't like or that you don't love, but you are either trapped or you're doing it for whatever, because it's financially stable for you, or because, you have children and you don't really know what to do. Like, you got to be really, really conscious and cognizant of what you are bringing into your reality and the type of things you are attracting to you, based on the fact that you are giving your body, giving your energy, giving your time, giving your consciousness, giving yourself to somebody that you don't even like, let alone love. Liking somebody and loving somebody is two different things. If you can't stand the sight of the person that you lay with, I mean, that is a psychological, you know what I'm saying, element that has that it really, really, really has to get cleaned up if you ever want to get on into the next level of yourself, or into a higher space of consciousness. And I work with clients, so if you're interested in me helping you through that, then you can hit me up, info@ZaZaAli.com. Perhaps we may be able to work together. But I also want to say that the men in our culture, and I'm emphasizing and talking about hip hop and celebrities, not because I'm all immersed or involved in that world, but because these people are the people that are actually setting the tone for the consciousness in our community. And if you don't think so, then you are not aware with what's happening within the Black community and within the melanated people around the world. Somebody made a comment and said, I don't understand why we expect anything outside from LeBron James or Beyonce and one other person that I don't even know. I think she might have Meghan Markle, that I didn't mention, but they're controlled by the elite or whatever. Like, I hold them to the same level of accountability and the same standard that I hold the person who wrote that comment, the same level that I hold myself. Do I think that a lot of these people are handicapped as far as being able to speak freely and to speak to or for their people? Absolutely. But that does not negate their responsibility. And even beyond that, if these people are setting the tone for our culture, how women see themselves, how women and men interact with each other, which they 100% are, then the least that I can do is to use how they conduct themselves and the message that they relay in order to teach a bigger lesson. I don't see Beyonce as any more valuable than the sister who left that comment. I think she's a great entertainer. You know what I mean? And she gets much love and respect from me from that, but I don't know enough about the content of her character or her heart to really make an assessment of who she is as a human being. The only reason why I mention her or any of the celebrities is because the impact that they have on the shaping and molding of the consciousness of our people, particularly our young people. And I want to reiterate, and I'm not talking about anybody specific as a celebrity, but the 85%ers are actually setting the tone for how a lot of our people, a lot of our young people are navigating in the world. And that's got to stop. And particular men and the men in that community and the type of women that they are promoting, that they are shining a light on, it is very dangerous and detrimental. And I've been saying this for a long time, because women are an ecosystem, and women and girls are looking at these women and looking at the men that are promoting these women. And they want to be like that to get that type of attention from those type of men. So men are an ecosystem. So it is important for me to talk to you because I have a son and you are an ecosystem, and my son is going to be impacted by the way you move, the way you conduct yourself, and the way that the type of images and music, etc., that you promote. That doesn't mean that, I'm not on my square as a mother. It just means that there's certain aspects of manhood that my son is going to take from the broader consciousness as far as men are concerned. That's not even something I can get in the way of. Only thing I can do is give my son the tools to be able to decipher what's righteous and what's not. So it is very important for men to start being able to control to control yourself and having willpower and discipline. And I, with all due respect, do not hear enough of our men talking about that. Excuse me. Also, y'all are letting a lot of clown shit pass in the conscious community, in hip hop, like that whole Tory Lane situation. Everybody got all up in arms about this dude and this situation that happened with Megan. But, you know, he had already promoted so much clown behavior. Why didn't any of the black celebrities, black men in particular, check that? Why is it free fall? And people are scared now to, you know, for being ridiculed or for backlash or for the sake of being judged, you know, afraid to talk about it, afraid to talk about morality, afraid to talk about how we are, you know, being led. But I bet when he stands his ass in front of that judge, he's going to get judged, right? So anyway, that's just some of the stuff that I wanted to say that I didn't get a chance to say. This blaming women for everything is cowardly. And men who do that, let's be clear, you are cowards. And unfortunately, as a woman, I shouldn't have to say that. There should be enough men that are saying that, but it's all good. But I do want to make sure to say that, like, black women have been the glue in our community. And no, we don't always make the best choices or decisions. Yes, we make the mistakes. Yes, we are figuring it out on the job. And as we go, but I think that, you know, this notion of everything being our fault, particularly, you know, I proved it with some of the scriptures from religion, you know, and you can just look on social media and see how many of these weird dudes that continuously disrespect women, particularly black women, and how many people that actually follow them. Well, how come nobody's calling that out? Men, because, you know, steel sharpens steel. I think that's what I wanted to say. You've got to get control of your lower nature, and you've got to be a little bit more focused on your mental, your spiritual, and your emotional self. And you have to have women that are available to you and accessible to you, that are teachers and that are nurturers and that understand the time that we live in, and that are able to help you to, you know, cultivate the right type of understanding as we move towards this paradigm shift. And there was one more thing that just came to my head. Damn, what was it? I think that's it. That's enough. ZaZaAli.com is my website. Thank you guys so much. Everyone who's tuned in, everyone who's purchased my books, the birthday donations. I appreciate all of you guys. The messages that I get, sometimes I don't have time to respond to all of them, but I am going to start making a concerted effort. Well, I usually do. First week of my videos, I usually, you know, interact back and forth with everyone. But people who, you know, I'm just going to start blocking certain energy from being able to watch my YouTube videos. Don't complain in my comments about what I do online for free. If you don't like it, don't watch. You know what I'm saying? ZaZaAli.com is my website. Much love, and I hope you guys have a great Halloween. And whatever you're doing, I hope you get a chance to spend some time with your loved ones or have some fun or just, you know, kick back and relax. And tonight is a full moon. So make your goals and aspirations. Take some time, sit in the dark, light a candle, and really, really think about the things that you want to manifest in your life and how you want your life to look and feel, because this is the year of the visionary, as my beloved brother Yusuf so eloquently said to me earlier this year. Yeah, if you are not creating in your mind and in your energetic aura or in your magnetic field what you want your life and your reality to look like, if you're not thinking about it, if you're not giving it energy, giving it intention, giving it focus, then it won't manifest. So tonight's a full moon. So take some time, Sit by yourself and give thanks in a mindset and a position of gratitude, and let the universe know unequivocally what you want to manifest. All right? ZaZaAli.com is my website. Peace and love.